Om Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. The relationship between Bhakta and Bhagavan. The Lord manifesting Himself from the absolute existence, the formless aspect of the impersonal absolute, manifesting as the personal God for the sake of devotee. Bhagavan, being the Lord of the universe, He manifests all His powers, makes the devotee understand His existence and greatness, mainly as the bliss absolute, peace absolute, and love absolute. Bliss, peace, love absolute. What we are seeking in our life, what every jiva is seeking in their life, is constantly hunting for joy, bliss. He is running after each object of the world, thinking this will give or that will give. All that is here in this universe is perishable. Nothing gives fulfillment, and we as bodily existence are also changing. So when a devotee aspires, or a jiva aspires for unending bliss, lot of bliss, limitless bliss, peace and freedom. These three he can never find in this world. Bliss absolute, peace absolute, and absolute freedom from the entire nature. We are bound by birth, death, disease, old age, and then lot of suffering with a little enjoyments here and there, little support of life and people sometimes even not that. And the whole process of bondage and suffering continues lives after lives. But we don't get fulfillment, what we are seeking in our life. So when this search in the world is turned to the beyond, the transcendental realm, there he finds there is neither time, space nor causation. There is no change. This is constantly changing flux. There is no impermanency. There is eternity. So, and here and there, few drops of enjoyment or pleasures of life, followed by lot of tension, struggle for existence. There, it is not there. It is unbroken ocean of bliss and peace, love, absolute and total freedom from this nature, which has kept us bound in this with the enticing. So we find this particular aspect blooming up, expanding when we turn to the divine. So God attracts that jiva who is on the path of evolution, who is ready to sacrifice small things, small things, just to serve someone sometime, unintentionally. There is no intention behind, just I love, out of compassion, a small services that he offers. Because his concern has expanded beyond the limits of his family. Immediately the divine feels he is expanding, he is evolving, he is coming to me. Some unknown factor governing his life, from the childhood, how some unknown power has been giving support and making the life possible. From childhood, a person doesn't earn or struggle, just going to school, especially in the modern times, going to school, studies, the whole responsibility is taken by the parents till he comes to proper age of 20-22, when he finishes his education. So unconcerned. All this is grace of divine, grace of nature. The nature has kept love and concern in the heart of parents, that parents care to take care. So this aspect, he goes on seeing some unknown power. He thinks, what could that be power be? It is God understands, he is searching for me now. He wants to know when his relatives, friends, others known to him die, and all family people will be weeping. Where did this person go? Is there anything remains after the body dies? Is there something separating from? Just like we sleep, enter into sleep by separating from the body. Like that, does any existence part from this bodily existence? All these are indirect seeking of the spiritual urge within. So when we come to this, the God feels, oh, the soul is evolving. Now I can draw his attention. He has stopped, means he is playing the world. He is being, ending. He is saturated. He feels himself sufficient. Oh, now it is time for me to turn to higher concerns, to feel for others, serve others, and go beyond. So here comes the relationship, and Jiva is entering into direct relationship with God, because God is attracting him. God is drawing his attention. We saw earlier, Dadami buddhi yogam tam, yena mam upayantiti. I will give him that buddhi yoga by which he comes to me. So here God's participation in life comes when you feel concern about others, when you sacrifice for others, any kind of sacrifice done for human beings, other living beings, and for God, and any aspect of nature, anything that you sacrifice is called yajna. So yajna is whatever you sacrifice in the name of God, anywhere, without any intention behind. I don't want anything from you, I love you. So this aspect we see in the last class. We saw how do we cultivate once we have come into the fold of God. How do we attain him? How do we go? Because we have to balance between the secular and spiritual now. Till now I was being driven away, driven by my inner desires, and I was floating in the stream of time, and life was going in vain. So now that I have come into the fold of the divine, how to attain him? That is, he is crossing the limits of avidya maya, entering into the jurisdiction of Maya, Vidya. From avidya he is coming to Vidya. From Maya he is coming to the realm beyond Maya. The in-between God and Maya, the individual Maya working at individual level is called Vidya. At cosmic level, her working is called Maya. Maya is cosmic delusion. Individual delusion, I don't know what is God. I don't know who am I in this body. I don't know what is this world. Then this ignorance is called avidya. So this avidya, I am in the field of avidya with raga dvesha, likes and dislikes, attachments and aversions, all dualities. I want to go beyond. Now, we having come into the Lord's fold, how to attain Him, how to reach Him, how to go beyond the nature. Yesterday we saw constant experience, feeling of living presence of God. As if God is with you at all times. Feel His living presence. Means you must be able to talk, touch, play mentally and feel His presence with you. Feel. Because imagination is a part. Certain amount of imagination becomes necessary in the beginning. But the imagination pertaining to reality leads to reality. Imagination regarding or connected to unreal becomes unreal. So suppose you go on dreaming like flowers in the sky, Akasha Pushpavat. All this can never become true. It is building the castles in the air. It cannot remain, flows off. But when you think of God, the existence itself, the existence that making all existence exist, when you are thinking of that, when you are thinking of Chaitanya, the ultimate positive entity from which the whole universe has appeared. So when you think, it will lead you to that reality. So real leads to real, and following the unreal, we enter into the unreal. So when we take up this aspect of feeling living presence of God, certain amount of imagination becomes necessary. But the imagination is not of something false, something of real. Where do you get? From the mouth of Guru. Meditate on this form. Feel His living presence with you. Scriptures say, the scriptures to which I am dedicated, I am given myself to those scriptures, my life's concern, my life's support is the scriptures in which I have grown up. Presently, I have been growing up in Hinduism. I may expand myself after I finish realizing God in my path into the other ways of how the other people look at God and realize. So here we see the constant remembrance of God or feeling the living presence of God. Not only intellect is involved, an understanding based on the scriptures and life of Leela of the Lord, the divine play He lives in. Suppose Krishna, you are thinking of Krishna's Leela. He has left behind a Leela. God leaves a Leela behind for the devotee to contemplate and attain Him. So this Leela, the scriptures have a support of your imagination. It's not something haphazard imagination. So it has a unknown, unconceived, we have not thought of it, but we are thinking. Suppose I am thinking of Krishna, His Bali Leela, His Bhagavad Gita, like that. I go on thinking. It is reality. One day I will see that I have gone beyond the limits of time and I am witnessing what actually has happened during those days of Krishna's Leela. This is the actual visions that we try to visualize our imaginations, and we enter into real visions of God. So here we see certain amount of imagination becomes necessary, but when it is linked from the heart, mind, it creates it, intellect supports it, and then heart joins it. When heart joins it, I am feeling the living presence. So, important part is to feel. Feel means heart is involved. So, when heart is involved, your whole being is concentrated in it. Wherever the heart is there, you are there. You are thinking someone deep from your heart. He is there with you already, or she is there with you already. She is in the form of intense thought, intense feeling. Similarly is my attention towards God. When I have turned my attention towards God, I feel the whole same love. The moment I start feeling, I am in the presence of God. Feeling creates the presence, invokes the presence of God. And presence creates a feeling. Feelings create the presence. So, constant, unbroken, long-lasting, months may pass, years may pass, that constant vision of God in which you are visualizing God's and feeling His living presence with you slowly matures into. Yesterday we saw, if you are able to constantly remember God or feel His living presence, you have won the half the battle or combat. Similarly, if you come to with japa we saw is another one more channel other than mind and intellect, linking you to the divine. So, from the divine it is emerging, from your consciousness, Chaitanya, Para Pashyanti Madhyama Vaikari, from Para it is coming out, emerging out. So, God's name coming, as you repeat the mantra, God's name coming out, emerging out from the depths of your heart. It is where from it is coming? From Chaitanya it is coming. Now, when somebody you see coming, you say, please come in, sit. You are seeing something, the message is received by the eyes, information is carried by the eyes to mind, mind to intellect, and is presented before the self. And the self reacts to it. He says, oh, he is the person whom I wanted. So I welcome him, I have known him. I welcome and make him sit. So when I am taking that person, it is a reaction to the external impetus. Something is entering in from inside, from outside. I am replying. That's all. Here they cancel each other. But when japa comes, it is not coming from outside. It is coming from within. There is nothing to give suggestion in the external world. Maximum my will and my mind. Oh, let me call on God. Enough of this world. For some time I am free from all this. Let me dedicate now. Let me think of Him. When I sit and japa I start, Guru has already given the mantra. It is God living in my heart. Mantra is God living in my heart as mantra. When I utter it, when I pronounce it, when I do the japa, when it comes to my mind or in prajna, then it is coming from the Chaitanya, from the transcendental realm it is coming. It is God coming out. It is not reaction to the material impulses that enter, I am reacting. No, it is coming from within. What makes it? Viveka. Viveka says, oh, you have spent so many days and nights, so many years in this world. Why don't you call on God now? Time is going off, life is ending. So when this Viveka, it is supported always by the Viveka. Viveka supports your imagination, prayer, everything. So here the inward going and outward going are all divine. Viveka is supporting your inward diving, and outside it is coming from the depths of your being. The japa is coming out. So Guru had given initiation and the mantra had entered the physical form in the mind as a combination of words, and the main part of the mantra, the Shakti of the mantra and Chaitanya of the mantra had gone into the another your inner chamber which goes to the next body, the Karmashaya. In Karmashaya it enters. There is a kosha within me which contains the karmas of what I have done, its phala, when should I get back the result, everything is noted in that. From that, the awareness, the slowly I am building up from within. So reaction comes from the depths of my being. The mantra comes from the Chaitanya. It is Chaitanyik word. It is not the physical world. If I connect it to the heart and with intense love I repeat, then the love makes that what is stored in my inner kosha, the karmashaya, it makes it come out. It unites with the mantra, and mantra becomes mantra Chaitanya. Mantra becomes conscious. It becomes a conscious power to destroy the maya, destroy the moha in you, and then give the enlightenment from within. So it takes you ultimately to the vision of God. So the thing which is within, when the mantra is coming out from this, it has to be linked with the love. Lovingly when you repeat, along with the feeling, living presence of God, you are feeling, with feeling you are uttering also. So the whole thing merges and you see most of the worldly attractions, worldly concerns, this that has gone away. And as a part of your duties of your day-to-day life, everything is managed by the Mother Nature. You need not pay much attention. Small attention here and there will be sufficient for you to transcend and go. Because the force is coming from nature. Your dedication, everything is making the nature to participate in your life. So here you see lot of space is there in you. Now you are expanding in the field of consciousness, Chaitanya. You are going closer to God. If you can feel the living presence of God and do consciously, lovingly, the japa also, japa is coming from the consciousness. Living presence, your awareness is taking up. You are feeling your bodily existence becomes secondary. See, an important thing you must remember and understand is that japa when you do, it is the vak you are uttering with the living presence. When it is done, it will be reducing your deha bhava, because You are feeling the living presence, the feeling living presence itself. Your spirit is awakening. The spirit can alone experience the Chaitanya. Chaitanya can experience Chaitanya. Living presence of God, when you say, it is a Chidghana. Chaitanya, it's made up of Chaitanya, not matter. God's body is not made up of the vision that you get even in Savikalpa Samadhi or externally. It is Chaitanya manifesting, the consciousness manifesting. Because of the reflected consciousness, I am able to understand the world and all things. The consciousness itself is manifesting. So you to understand, to feel the living presence of that God who is going to manifest as Chaitanya, you must, the constant thinking itself is separating you from bodily existence. If you are constantly remembering God, then repeating His mantra, feeling His living presence, the bodily awareness goes to minimum level, to the extent when hunger is there, you eat a few morsels of food. And it is an offering to God. And on the other side, this japa has another thing. It makes the sharira mantramaya. Not only mantra awakens, the mantra gets deposited in the body at all level, because there is what is just like blood flows in our body, the heart pumps it. The pumping is done by the heart. Similarly, we see the blood is flowing and again coming back, giving all the nutritions, oxygen and all, coming back with carbon dioxide and all dirt. This circulation is going on. Similarly, nervous system is functioning through the nerves, the conduction, the current of the brain to control all things, activities and thoughts in the body is done through the nervous system. I am able to move the hand, turn my face, because through the nervous system everything is governed. Similarly, I have got respiratory system, reproductive system, lymph system, drainage. So many things are there working like a pipe. Many types of pipes are moving, working in the body. Similarly, every cell is a conscious cell. There is consciousness in every cell. You can see when a bacteria enters your body, how the WBC, white blood corpuscles, come to fight. They are conscious. You see the bacteria entering. You can imagine each cell carrying nutrition and oxygen to every other cell, feeding it and coming back with all. Like a helpless child, it cannot move. Somebody will go and feed and come. These are doing the part of work. The bones and bone marrow, muscles, all nervous system, this system, that system, all are stagnant. It cannot move. It is not jangama. It is like sthavara. So these jangama blood cells and all, they carry the food and give and come. So how the system is working is, everybody is working consciously like it is an organism. So it's a perfectly working organism, or it's an organization. Each part is participating and giving its services for the working of the whole system. Leg is doing its work, head is doing its work, the blood vessels are doing its work. All the whole part, every part is doing its work for its fulfillment. So this we see, what kind of fulfillment I am getting. No, every cell is consciousness. And with consciousness, remember, consciousness is pervading from the transcendental. The consciousness pervades your whole body, and this is happening to another system which we call nadis. There are 72,000 nadis and all we see in the body. The main nadis are the Sushumna nadi. The important levels of consciousness are dissolved. Levels of consciousness is experienced in that. And then Ida Pingala and Sushumna are the important nadis. Like the 72,000 nadis are there, supplying constantly. That is the life force. I am alive because of the flow of that consciousness, Chaitanya. We think Chaitanya is, the moment we say Chaitanya, we forget that it is a power, it's a Shakti. We take only as consciousness, as the Advaita consciousness, Chaitanya, which is immovable, which is not there, duality is not there. But when it comes to the relative existence, it takes entirely different course. It flows, it acts, it works in various ways. In brain, consciousness works in a different way. In body, it works in different way. We see the different kind of. And mantra, because I am consciously doing, feeling the living presence, and lovingly I am doing the japa. Because the same consciousness from where it is coming, the consciousness as mantra is, whole body is consciousness. So whole body gets the whole mantra, every mantra it is repeating. So when a cell of your body is cloned, another person comes out doing japa in it. Or afterwards he may become different according to the environmental circumstances. But when it comes, what you are, it will be there. Means in every cell, that consciousness is there. And because you are conscious of the mantra is getting repeated. So, we will see in the next class. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.